Understanding decimals and place value. What is a decimal? A decimal is a part of a whole. Some decimals are special fractions with certain multiples of 10 as the denominator. Here you will see 1/10th written as 0.1, 100th written as 0.01, 1/10,000th written as 0.0001. Let's explore this in a little bit more depth. Decimals can be shown on a place value chart. So everything to the left of the decimal is a whole number, and everything to the right is a part of a whole. In this case, we have 14 spiders. So that means there is one lot of 10 spiders and 4 lots of 1 spiders, or 14 spiders. So that's comprised of 10 plus 4 is 14. In this case, we've got 10 cents, or 10 hundredths, or 1/10th. You often see this as in dollars and cents. In this case, it would be 10 cents. So you can see down the bottom here, it can be written as 10 hundredths, 1/10th, or even 100 over 1,000. That would be putting an extra 0 in the thousandths column. Now the extra 0 we will get to later. So essentially these three fractions are all the same. And you can see that here, there are no whole numbers, only part of a whole. So 10 cents equals 0.1, or 10 hundredths equals 1/10th. In this case, we've got 1 cent. Now 1 cent can be written as 1 over 100. You could put in a 0 in the thousandths column, and that would be 10 over 1,000, or 100 over 10,000 if you put another 0 in here. And you're simply reading the number over the last column that is represented. So this is the last column represented here, so it's 1/100th. If there was a 0 in here, and you can put a 0 because it's the same, you could represent this as 10 thousandths, which is seen down here. Okay, so getting a little bit more tricky, so you got 25 cents is written in the tenths and hundredths place positions. So you've got 2 tenths and 5 hundredths. It can be written as 25 over 100, or 250 over 1,000, and so on, if we were to put a 0 in here. They are the same fraction, as we will see soon. Okay, remember that decimals are special fractions with multiples of 10 as the denominator. So in this section, have a look at this. What portion of the square is green? So we've got 4 lots of a total 10. So there's 10 columns, 4 of them are green. So therefore the fraction is 0.4, or 4/10ths, which is smaller than 6/10ths, or 0.6. How many hundredths are in red? Okay, so we've got 3 lots of 10 rows, so that's 30 over 100. Then we've got another 2 here, so that's 32 over 100 is the red. The remainder, which is 68, is 68 over 100 in yellow. And it can be written like so. And the same could be said of thousandths. Here we've got a square broken up into thousands, 1,000 little tiny rectangles, all the same size, which is important. 44 of those rectangles are green, and 956 of those rectangles are blue. And they would be written as 44 over 1,000, or 956 over 1,000, or 0.044, or 0.956. Okay, compare these two decimals, you will see that 4/10ths is less than 6/10ths. So what you can see here is that the smaller number gobbles up the bigger number with the crocodile symbol here. If it were to be written the other way around, that would be pointed, so if it was 0.6 is greater than 0.4, the 0.4 would be facing the symbol would be placing the other way for greater than. Okay, this one, you can see they are equal. However, you'll notice they're broken up into hundredths here and tenths here. That is, they're broken up into 10 rectangles here and 100 rectangles or squares here. And you'll see that they're the same. So we've got 4 over 10, that is 4 parts of 10 whole, or 40 parts of 100 whole. And you'll see that they're exactly the same. That is, they're in proportion to each other. Okay, in this example, I've written it and drawn it 3 different ways for you to be able to compare them. Now what I've done is I've made sure that the decimals and the fractions are the same so that you can easily compare and see which is greater and which is smaller. So in this case, we've got three fractions. We've got 8 over 10, which can also be written as 800 over 1,000. We've also got 1, 2, and we've got 8 over 100, as can be seen here, or we've got 8 over 1,000. Now what I've done is I've put them all over 1,000 so you can compare, and it's just a simple case of going 800 is bigger than 80, which is bigger than 8. Hence the symbol, and you will notice the 0.08 is gobbling up the 0.08, and the 0.08 is gobbling up the 0.8 with the crocodile things there, if you get confused with greater than and less than symbols. Okay, compare these decimals using the greater than or less than or equal sign. So, is 0.6 bigger, smaller, or equal to 0.7? And B, is 0.39 bigger, smaller, or equal to 0.3? Have a go on your own. You should be pausing the video so that you can have a go on your own, and we will check the answers now. Okay, so we've got 0.6, which is here represented as 6/10, and 0.7 represented here as 7/10. So you can see that the smaller number is eating up the bigger number. That means 6/10 is smaller than 7/10. In the second example, we've got the opposite, so we've got 0.39 or 39 over 100 over 3 over 10, the second fraction is 3 over 10, which can also be written as 30 over 100. And we did that so that we can compare them. We can see that 39 is bigger than 30, so therefore 39 over 100 is greater than 30 over 100. You can also see in the picture that more of it is coloured in, therefore it is bigger. That is a bigger portion. This is representing a bigger portion of the whole number. Compare these decimals using greater than, less than, or equal sign. Pause the video and press play when you're ready to commence. Okay, you will see that 0.54 is less than 0.56. That is 54 over 100 is smaller than or less than 56 over 100. Simply put, once they're over the same denominator or the bottom number, you can see that 54 is less than 56. In this case, we've got 20 over 100 and 20 over 100, and they are equal. Hopefully you've got all these correct. You may need to do some further revision on them. But what about when the fraction is different on the bottom number? That is the denominator. Which is larger? 1/4, 6/8. So we're going to use three different methods of representing these two fractions. First of all, we're going to draw a picture. Okay, so we've got the picture here, and we can see very clearly that 1/4, the yellow part, is smaller than the big brown part. So you can confidently say that the quarter would be eating up the 6/8. Or you could do it this way, where you change the bottom numbers so that they are the same. What do we need to do to make it the same as 8? Well, we need to multiply it by 2. What we do to the bottom number, we do to the top number. You may need to pause the video at various points and to enable you to better understand these concepts, which is fine. Okay, and the opposite could be said if you wanted to change 6/8 to 3/4. Instead of timing it by 2, you would divide it by 2. So you divide this by 2 and divide that by 2, and you'd end up with 3/4. And that there, by putting them both over 8, you can see that 6 is greater than 2. You can also change them into decimals, if that helps you. So 1 divided by 4, that line in the middle is just a divided by sign. So 1 divided by 4 equals 0.25, and whereas 3 divided by 4 equals 0.75. Many prefer to do this way because it's nice and easy to plug these numbers into a calculator or do a simple short division sum. And you will see, lastly, you can put them both over 100, and you will see that 25 is smaller than 75, therefore this is smaller than this. So what I've done here is three different ways of showing that 1/4 is less than 6/8. You can use whichever method you like best. The drawing of pictures can be confusing, especially if you've got larger fractions with, for example, 6 over 25. That might be hard to draw. So it is good to get familiar. I find the second method very simple, where you just divide the top number divided by the bottom number. Right, have a go at this one on your own. Pause the video and see how you go. Okay, so you will see that we have got 7/8, and you can quite clearly see by the picture that this is bigger than this. However, you can work it out by making both over 24. So to make 8 into 24, you have to multiply it by 3. Whatever you do to the bottom number, you have to do to the top number. So 7 times 3 is 21, 8 times 3 is 24, so you've got 21 over 24. Now we then have to make 2/3 over 24, so we go 2 times 8 is 16, and 3 times 8 is 24, and we get 2/3 equals 0.66. So what we've covered here today is we've covered what fractions are, which fractions are bigger or smaller, so therefore it helps you to order fractions, help you to represent fractions in different ways, and also helped you to understand how to change fractions into decimals, such as I've done there. Lastly, you can write those decimals over. You can see that's got 3 decimal places, so that would be the thousandths column. So 875 over 1,000 and 660 over 1,000. And that is quite clearly bigger than 660. And that's it. If you've got any questions, I think what you have to do from here is you have to make sure that you revise these, because when you learn something, it doesn't, the connections will not form until you actually go and do some exercises yourself, which have been given to you